Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We are here today to talk about some hot topics. So let's get this party started. So our very first hot topic is a sad one. It is about a famous drag queen who actually collapsed and died mid-performance in Philadelphia. This is very heartbreaking. I enjoy drag queens. I love the show called We Are Here, where they go out to different parts in the U.S. and they help these kids that want to do this and adults, but also the people that don't really understand or agree with it or might not understand it at all. They can change these people's minds. Some of them even participate and do the drag show. It's a great show. So if you want, check it out. But this is about this famous Philadelphia drag queen who died this week after collapsing in the middle of a performance. Now, her name is Valencia Prime, who was rather notorious in the city of brotherly love while performing in a drag show at the Taboo Lounge and Sparks Bar on Monday, September 12th, when she went down. I can only imagine what people went through having to watch this, let alone what her family is going through. So this is her right here. It was about 45 minutes later that she was pronounced dead by TMZ. Now, the medics were alerted to the scene after getting a call around 11:15 p.m. when the investigator for the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office determined he had passed away. Now, she has been beloved by so many, especially in her area, but one person that loved her so much was this little girl, and she actually surprised her for her birthday, and it is the cutest thing in the world. So I want to show you guys that really quick. And I don't think TikTok will get mad at this music, but we'll see.
I got something for you, so you need to come this way.
Come over here.
Wait, a little crown that you're gonna be wearing right now.
She's so happy. Look at that, a crown and a wand. She looks so cute. And this is where she performs. I am going to mute this though. Which is so cute, is this puppet. I don't know if that's part of her normal routine, but just for the little girl, it's so cute. Look at her. Oh, I love it. So that is this cute video that they added to this article about her, and I had to show you guys. I had to. Now, this tragedy, because it's a tragedy, has broken hearts of many, especially the people that were always around her, that performed with her. And it is said that the cause of death is due to cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and obesity. Valencia has hosted this drag show called Primetime since she was 25 years old. That's amazing. Which I do actually have a flyer from her performance doing this, what they call prime time, which I would love to show you guys. So this is it. Oh, she has the crown. We love the crown, just like Rich Lux. You know how we are here. She's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. It's so sad. Such a tragedy. And The Taboo Philly official Instagram actually put out a couple posts for her. The first one being this one right here, where it says, "Today we mourn the loss of a very bright and rising star in the performance community and a person who was always full of life and positivity. We say goodbye to Valencia Prime, but we will not forget the light you brought to the stage." Now, they are also doing a show in her memory, which they're inviting her mother and other family members. This will be Monday, September 18th. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the tributes begin at 8 p.m. So if you are in the Philly area and you would love to go to this drag show to support the family, it's no charge, though donations are welcomed, and all donations will be going to the family to offset the funeral costs. And here's the other thing that they actually posted on their Instagram saying, "Announcement, we have been asked about hosting a show in honor of Valencia Prime, and we are communicating with their family to make sure we have their blessing and input. We will keep everyone updated." Which they have updated us. Like I said, it is on Monday. So like I said, if you're in the Philly area, go check this out. You will have so much fun at a drag show, but know that you are also supporting this family and everything that they're going through during this tough time, and it will help offset the funeral costs if anyone does donate to the family. So that is our first hot topic of the day, though it's not really a hot topic to, hot, but it is a very sad topic, and of course needed to update you guys on that. So let's check out our next one. So our next topic is about Cardi B. Now, what some might not realize is that she had gotten into an issue with a fight that happened at a strip club back in 2018. Well, she agreed to a plea deal, and she was actually sentenced to 15 days of community service on Thursday for her role in this 2018 strip club fight in New York City. Now, Cardi B pled guilty to third-degree assault and second-degree reckless endangerment before the court in Queens on Thursday. A quote from Cardi said, "Part of growing up and maturing is being accountable for your actions," which I completely agree with. Now, the charges came from a fight at the Angels Gentlemen Club back on August 30th, 2018, when Cardi B reportedly accused a bartender of having an affair with her husband, Offset, leading to a fight that saw bottles, hookah pipes, and chairs tossed. Now, Cardi did share photos from her day in court on Twitter, and of course I have those for you guys. So let's take a peek at them. So this was the first one, of course, where she her and she adds some photos, which she is looking gorgeous, absolutely stunning here. This is her leaving court. I love that dress she has on, and here she is looking hot. I do have to comment, though, her nails. I do not understand how she can do anything with those nails. I mean, listen, I like a nice set of, XL tips, but that is like 5 right there. Those are long. I can't do shit when I have the XL tips on. I can't like even zip my pants, let alone, everyone knows I smoke, roll a joint, like just can't happen. So I'm interested to know how she could do anything with those nails. But people that always have long nails seem to get used to them and end up doing things with it. But I know I could never do anything. And here is another picture that was leaked. Look at those nails. They're extra, extra long. That's 5X. 5XL nails right there. Girl, she got the claws. Watch out for her. So one of the replies on this post was, of course, this beautiful reply, which this person made a mug from a tweet from Cardi that says, "I'm a big boss bitch. I do not come in your size. No." I don't know the date because you can barely see the date on this, but that was a tweet that she had posted, and they made a beautiful mug with it. I wish I could buy that, honestly. I would buy that totally. And then another reply was, you a baddie and get what you want, which X over here says, "Don't think that she wanted community service, but okay. Listen, community service is much better than actually having jail time. I don't think she minds the community service at all. I think she would have minded going to jail. So let's just say I would take community service any day over jail time." Now, I do have a clip from this video that was put out by a news channel regarding this case, and I would love to show you guys. So here it is. I will have to stop and pause because it is, I believe, MSNBC. We don't need a copyright claim over here.
In court as part of the plea deal that she orchestrated with co-defendants Jeffrey Bush and Tawana Jackson Morrell to attack two sisters working at the club. It was allegedly in retaliation against one of them, who she believes slept with her husband Offset.
I mean, listen, people do some crazy things, especially when you find out a partner maybe cheated on you or you see text messages. There are some people that go absolutely crazy. She's in love with him. They have children together. This was at the start of their relationship, so I can only imagine her wanting to take action. Because when you get that upset, things that you normally don't or wouldn't do actually happen.
In court, she admitted to exchanging direct messages on Instagram and a video of the fight being sent to her of the attack.
Is it true that you acted in concert with defendant Bush, defendant Jackson Morrell, and others who repeatedly struck Rachel Watley, an employee at said nightclub, pulled her hair, punched her in the head, and slammed her head into the bar countertop, causing Rachel Watley to sustain physical injury?"
So yes, she pled guilty, and she DM'd these people. They sent her the fight video, but she actually wasn't the person to fight the girl. These other people fought for her in that sense.
Cardi B walked out of court a free woman. No jail time as part of the deal.
Cardi, do you have anything you want to say about today's case? Anything you might have said?
No idea what that meant, but she appeared to be in good spirits. The 20
I have to laugh at that part of the video. Like, I don't understand it either, but they added that into this video. Like, I have no idea what that meant. Like, oh my God, you could have just not said anything.
29-year-old wife and mother of two now has to serve 15 days of community service in Queens.
As soon as she does this community service, which will obviously be consistent with the community service she does anyway, that will be the end. There'll be no probation. There'll be no other sentence.
Which is great news. 15 days of community service. Like her attorney said, she already does community service, but after that, there's no probation, nothing else. That will be it. Though this will be on her record, you know, I think she is a changed woman. She's matured. She's grown from this. The relationship she has with Offset is a lot better than it was. And I can tell that she is taking action, and she is taking the time to recognize what she has done in the past and taking accountability for it and saying, listen, I've matured. And when you mature, you have to take accountability for your actions. That's what I'm doing. So that is the news on Cardi B and the strip club fight that led her into this courtroom on Thursday to take this plea deal. Let's move on to our next hot topic. Now, our next hot topic is it's a little more for mature audiences. It goes along with the Roe vs. Wade stuff, and it's Chrissy Teigen says back in 2020, her pregnancy loss was a life-saving, the A word for what we are talking about. Not a miscarriage, plus more news from this article. So, Chrissy Teigen just clarified that the loss of her son, Jack, back in 2020 was not a miscarriage, but an A word. I hate that YouTube does not let us say that word. A fact that shocked her when John Legend pointed it out after the Supreme Court overturned Roe vs. Wade. She made the comment saying, 2 years ago, when I was pregnant with Jack, John, and my third child, I had to make a lot of difficult and heartbreaking decisions. This was on Thursday that she made this, and she says that a day of reasonable conversation, the summit, according to the Hollywood Reporter, it's become very clear around halfway through that he would not survive and that I wouldn't either without any medical intervention. Chrissy, who's currently pregnant again, was hospitalized 20 weeks into her pregnancy with the couple's son, and because of what they call a partial placenta abruption, where the placenta, which delivers oxygen and nutrition to the fetus, separated from the uterus. As Chrissy's previously shared, she was losing a dangerous amount of blood. She checked into the hospital while Jack was unable to get what he needed to survive in the womb. Just call it what it is. It was an A word, the star continued. An A word to save my life for a baby that had absolutely no chance. And to be honest, I never, ever put that together until actually a few months ago. Now, after the reversal of Roe vs. Wade, Chrissy said she was talking to John about the growing decision and solutions around the already involved for who has these A words, when he helped her see that she was one of those people. Now, she says, I felt silent, feeling weird that I hadn't seen or made sense of it in that way. I told the world we had a miscarriage. The world agreed we had a miscarriage. All the headlines said it was a miscarriage. And I became really frustrated that I didn't, in the first place, say what it was. And I felt silly that it had taken over a year to actually understand what we had gone through, which was the A word. So that is what Chrissy Teigen had to say about her pregnancy loss and the realization of what it actually was down to. That's a really hard topic to talk about. And I know that she's pregnant now, and this is considered her rainbow child since she had the loss of Jack. And I still feel like she and John made the right decision, because that could have not only killed her, but at that point in the pregnancy, with everything that was going on, there was no chance of this child coming out living and or making it in that sense. So I think she made the right decision. And if people actually criticize her for that, then you're not looking at the facts of the matter. And you're not taking into perspective what happened. And maybe you need to research a little bit, which, you know, that's just my opinion on things. I don't think she should be criticized. Like I said, I think that they made the right decision at the right time in their life when all of this was going on. So that's the Chrissy topic. Let's move on to our next hot topic. Now, this next hot topic is something that we have covered here before on my channel. This is more of what we would say an update on everything that's happening. So, Twitter has dismissed Elon's third attempt at ending the deal as invalid and wrongful. So, Twitter has slammed Elon Musk's third attempt at terminating his accusation deal, arguing it was invalid and irrelevant to Elon's real motives for trying to terminate his purchase of the social media platform. Elon had claimed Friday that Twitter's severance pay to the whistleblower Fxllxng was proof that it had valid a clause within the agreement for his purchase of the company. But the social media company said in a Monday filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission that Elon's complaint is just, all right, let the plane go by, is just not a valid justification for ending the $44 billion takeover agreement. The letter is the latest exchange of legal jabs between the two parties over Elon's attempt to get out of this agreement to buy the company. It was the case with each of your prior prompted terminations that Elon's party's third proponented termination is invalid for the independent reason that Mr. Elon and other Elon parties continually knowing, intentionally, willingly, and materially breached the agreement, said Twitter in their filing. Now, I will, of course, include this when we actually see them go to trial. If they go to trial, I know that trial is set, but you never know if something can get settled before the actual trial, which it could happen. It could. Which, of course, I will update you, of course, if anything does happen. But Zacco's revelations made news back in August when he unveiled details about Twitter's poor security practices. Another plane? That's a smaller plane, though. He also spoke on the company's approach to bots, alleging that the company had been deceptive through its use of the monetizable daily activity users, which fits a much stricter category of spam accounts than what Elon has pursued in his attempts to justify ending the deal. Now, Twitter agreed to pay Zappos a $7.75 million settlement days before he filed his original whistleblower complaint against the company. So they try to pretty much buy their way out of this and say, listen, here, we'll give you this amount of money if you don't do this. And he actually filed the whistleblower complaint. The settlement included agreeing to a non-disclosure agreement forbidding him from speaking publicly about his time on Twitter. So they knew that they were going through this lawsuit with Elon. They knew that this is something that was going to happen, so they tried to shut him up in that sense. Now, Zappos is scheduled to appear before Congress on Tuesday to speak on the allegations of his whistleblower report. The former hacker, known as Mudge, was also subpoenaed by Elon's legal team for documents related to his claims. He was also referenced in Elon's second attempt to terminate his deal with Twitter on August 30th. The number of bot accounts on Twitter has been a constant source of contention between the social media giant and Musk, who pulled out of his merger over allegations of inaccurate estimates of spam bots. Now, I feel like even though this was something that was already in the works, when the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial went down, we all know Amber Heard and Elon had their little affair, or whatever you want to call it, relationship that happened. And with all the bots, which my opinion were from more of the Amber Heard side than the Johnny Depp, though Amber Heard side believes it was more of the Johnny Depp side. My opinion is all of those from the Johnny Depp side were more real accounts than actual bots, and more of the Amber Heard side was actual bots because they always posted the same exact thing. And there's been proof that multiple accounts, different names, posted the same exact statement. And it wasn't like a retweet. It was an actual tweet from different accounts. Now, Twitter and Elon's legal teams are scheduled to meet from October 17th through the 21st for an expedient trial over Twitter's lawsuit about Elon's termination of the deal. The two parties have filed multiple subpoenas seeking information regarding Twitter's practices and Elon's finances. Twitter filed multiple subpoenas to Elon's compatriots for documentation discussing the funding of Elon's planned $44 billion that he was going to use to buy this company. Now, Elon himself filed a subpoena against former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey while seeking information about his time at the company. Elon attempted to delay the trial by a month, only for the judge to overseeing the trial in Delaware court to reject the request over allegations that an excess delay could cause irreparable harm to Twitter as a company. So it still looks like everything is planned. The trial is set, and we are going to be covering this here on my channel. So any new updates, of course, I will include them and everything, whether it's a hot topic or a video or a live, we will be talking about it. So make sure to check this out as it happens. But before we move on from Elon Musk, he actually might be in another lawsuit because Tesla, accused of fraud, falsely advertising of autopilot technology in a lawsuit. This was on the 15th. All right. So Tesla reports over 273 involving driver-assisted tech. Drivers are suing electrical car manufacturer Tesla for accusing the company of deceiving consumers about the abilities of the autopilot system, which is sold for thousands of dollars as an add-on to its cars. So you can get the Tesla. You don't need this if you don't want it. It's an add-on, but it costs thousands of dollars for this add-on to be there. Now, the class action lawsuit filed this week in a California court by Tesla customer Briggs Matisco, who said he paid $5,000 just for the autopilot upgrade in his 2018 Tesla Model X. He seeks damages and a jury trial. It claims that Tesla and its CEO, Mr. Elon Musk, broke several warranty, false advertising, negligence, fraud, and different things that break the law that they are going after from him. Now, in every year since 2016, Tesla and Elon have repeatedly made deceitful and misleading statements to consumers indicating that a fully self-driving, fully automatized Tesla vehicle was just around the corner, often expressively stating that would occur by the end of the calendar year, which is 2016, end of that calendar year, or within the next year, says the lawsuit, which was viewed by USA Today. Now, the lawsuit pointed to several statements about Tesla's advanced driver assistance system, the name of its autopilot technology made by Elon online and by the company on the website. They included a 2016 video shot from behind the wheel showing a Tesla car completely driving itself to its destination through busy streets and intersections. I've actually seen this. It was like an advertisement. I don't necessarily remember if it was on TV also, but I do remember seeing it online. And it looked like this car was actually driving itself, and this technology was something that we see in movies, things like that, and it was actually coming true at that point. And I even said to myself when I saw the commercial, how does this work? Like, I don't think that this actually would work as planned. Like, I could see it working a little bit, like brake check, things like that. But how? Like, sometimes as a driver, you have to make quick decisions. And I don't think that is capable of doing it. So it says, in reality, Tesla employees who made the video would later reveal that the car in the video had significant assistance from commercial mapping software not available to a Tesla customer, and that the car still performed poorly and even ran into a fence during filming. I knew something was up. I knew that this car couldn't just drive itself like that commercial showed. Now, the video is still featured on Tesla's website, according to the lawsuit. So if you guys want to check out this video before they take it down, it's on the website right now. So check it out. Now, from 2017 to 2019, the company promised on its website that certain versions of its cars would be capable of full self-driving in almost all circumstances and conduct short and long distance trips with no action required by the person in the driver's seat. Now, according to the lawsuit, Elon promised that Tesla vehicles would be able to perform a fully automated cross-country drive in 2016 and again in 2019. Really? A cross-country drive? I mean, then you could sleep, things like that. No. You still have to have someone in the driver's seat for a freaking reason, because clearly it can't be that self-automized. Like, you need to have someone in the driver's seat just in case something happens. Like I said, I did not believe it when I saw it. I still don't believe it. And I would never buy a Tesla, but that's just me. Now, part of the suit draws on several collisions, some of them fatal, over the years involving Tesla cars on self-drive mode, including a 2018 solo highway crash that killed a Tesla driver commuting to his Silicon Valley job. Now, the National Transport Safety Board investigation concluded a probable cause was the Tesla autopilot system that steered the vehicle into a highway gorge area due to system limitations. Another probable cause was that the drivers owned inactionable movements by the Tesla's vehicle ineffective motion of driver engagement. So he probably thought that this was fine, drove the car, drove him to work. But when this was all going down, he didn't do anything. He was not paying intention. He wasn't paying attention. And then this led him into this highway gorge area, and it was a fatal crash. It's not really funny at all, but it's really? Come on, you really trusted it that much? I don't know. I would never trust it. I would never trust it. So lastly, the lawsuit cited multiple examples of highway level Tesla employees and legal counsel contradicting Elon's public characterizations of ADAS self-driving capabilities over the past few years. It also pointed to California's Department of Motor Vehicles accusation in July that Tesla falsely advertised its autopilot system. Self-driving cars are a thing of the future, but are they right around the corner? That's the question we all need to be asking. What do you guys think? Please let me know below in the comments section. Do you think they are right around the corner? Do you think that the Tesla is capable of this right now? Or do you think this is something in the future? So despite the problems, Tesla has steadily increased the price of its ADS upgrades. And Elon announced in August that Tesla would increase the price of the system on its new cars. Ready for this? From $12,000 to $15,000 this month. Woo! Isn't that a chunk of change? I mean, technically, you could buy a car for $15,000, but you're paying for an upgrade for the Tesla that's already really expensive just to have this. So USA Today requested for comment to Tesla, and they have not responded as of Thursday. So looks like Elon will not only be in court for Twitter, he will be in court for his company that makes him millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars for the Tesla and the autopilot system that they lied about. They lied about this, even in their video. Unfreaking believable. So that's Elon. Let's move on to our next hot topic. So, of course, this is another update kind of thing. We've talked about Kanye West and his deal with the Gap, and then the whole Gap situation where he wanted them in these construction bags to be displayed in the front of the stores, and they had them on the racks, and then he made them put them in the bags, and then people thought they looked kind of like, weird and homeless in that sense. And I even said that how, you had to dig through these bags to find the size that you're looking for. It just didn't make any sense to me. Well, Kanye West and Gap are splitting up after 2 years. Now, this was like a 10-year deal. And after 2 years, he's already saying, I can't do this with you guys anymore. We need to split up. Now, an attorney for Kanye West, who goes by Ye, told the Associated Press that a letter has been sent to the clothing chain Thursday seeking to terminate the contract between Gap and West company Yeezy. The clash comes a little over a year after Yeezy's first item, which was the blue puffer jacket, appeared in Gap stores. The deal was announced back in June of 2020 to much fanfare. Now, in this letter, Kanye's lawyers shared that it said that Gap failed to meet obligations in the pact, including distributing manufacturing to Gap stores, locations, and creating more of these dedicated, what they call YZY Gap stores. So they were supposed to make stores for Gap that were just dedicated to these Yeezy clothing and, accessories, things like that. So as a comment, they said Gap left Ye no choice but to terminate their collaboration agreement because of Gap's substantial non-compliance, which was said by one of Kanye's attorneys in an emailed statement to the Associated Press. Ye had tried to work through these issues with Gap, both directly and through counsel, and he got nowhere. The lawyer also said that Gap's failure to comply with the terms of the contract has been costly. He said that Kanye plans to begin opening up Yeezy retail stores by himself. Gap confirmed that the pact was ending in a memo to employees. Simply put, while we share a version of bringing high-quality, trend-forward designs to all people through all demographics and unique experiences with Yeezy Gap, how we work together to deliver this version and vision that we had together is not aligned. This was the president of the CEO of the Gap brand in this memo to employees. And he also said, and we are deciding to wind down the partnership. The company plans to continue to sell Yeezy Gap products that were in the pipeline. Kanye has unreleased criticism on social media against Gap as well as Adidas, where he had a similar deal, which Adidas declined to comment. The San Francisco realtor retailers, had been hoping that the partnership with Kanye would resonate with customers in a period of declining sales. For Yeezy, being in more than 1,100 Gap stores worldwide would have put his brand in front of more people. Now, I did have someone go to the mall. I didn't go myself, but that's where the Gap store is that we have in my area. They said that they didn't see any of the display that, they were supposed to have out for these Gap stores for the Yeezy merchandise, and that there was only a few Yeezy products actually in that store. So in San Francisco, this is where Kanye first, had this whole thing with the whole bag situation and all of that happen. But also, Kanye has had a history with Gap. He worked at one of its stores in Chicago as a teenager. He told Vanity Magazine back in 2015 that he wanted to be a creative director for the brand. So this is like something he always dreamed of, even as a teenager when he worked there, that he wanted to be a creative person and director for this brand, which this, dream came true. But unfortunately, Gap has been slacking with everything with Kanye on this. Now, I do have a video. This is the MSNBC video, so I will have to pause this as well, where Kanye makes a comment about everything. So let me add it.
His multi-year deal with Gap and speaking out on CNBC's Closing Bell.
I'm the king, right? So a king can't live in someone else's castle. A king has to make his own castle.
The superstar announcing today he's parting ways with the brand after accusing the Gap of failing to follow through on aspects of their contract.
I signed.
Which, technically they did. Oh, P.S. Look at those sunglasses. Where did we see that, guys? Oh, my last video on Kanye. There's something that he put on his Instagram that they were trying out, testing out. Models were there for like the photo shoot. Those are the ones that roll up and you could put in your pocket type of sunglasses. And they look good on him. I don't think I still would buy them, but they do look good on him.
Signed on with them because they had in the contract they said they were going to do stores, and they just ignored us about building stores constantly. And sometimes I would talk to the guys, the heads up, the leaders, and it would just be like I was on mute or something.
West, who now goes by Ye, also expressing frustration over the price of Yeezy's Gap apparel.
I always talk to them about doing.
Ooh, which, if you guys know, I did talk about this. It's hundreds of dollars for some of these clothing that were in some of these Gap stores, like hundreds of dollars. Something that I would not spend hundreds of dollars on either.
Products for $20, like the best product in the world, designed at the same level of the top fashion houses in the world at $20 for the people. And actually, I wasn't able to set the actual price that I wanted for this collection.
Oh.
And then
So if this is said to be true, which at this point, this is what Kanye is saying, he did not set any of these prices. It was Gap that put them for hundreds of dollars. And as we saw in my last video, there was like this Gap sweatshirt that you could probably buy for like maybe $4. And it was distressed a little bit. And they were selling that for like $200 just because it was technically something from Yeezy. Come on now. He's even saying he wanted it at a budgetable price for people of all demographics. $200 and something is not reasonable for people. $40, $50, Yeah, that's more reasonable.
She took one of the shirts and sold it for $19. So didn't price my stuff. Priced my stuff at like $200.
Gap stock was already struggling post-pandemic, and today it closed out down more than 3%.
So they had a shirt that was very similar to his. They sold that shirt for $20, but not his. They were selling that for like $200. And they went from the stock exchange, which I understand stocks very little bit. They went from 3% down to 1%. Instead of going up like they had planned and thought they would by 2000 and I forget 25. It didn't go up at all. It's now going down because of him wanting this split.
The partnership with Kanye West that was expected to help Gap expand their relevance, target new and younger consumers coming into the brand. The issues with both parties coming together, I think, has led to what's happening today.
2 years ago, news of the partnership between one of Hollywood's biggest names and one of the 90s most iconic brands sent Gap stock soaring.
We've seen the influence that we've had on two Fortune 500 companies.
By June of 2021, Wells Fargo predicted Gap's Yeezy line could bring in nearly $1 billion within.
Ooh, $1 billion. That's within a year. That's a good amount of money. But it's also like, all right, if you have it at this price, yeah, that's why it's going to be $1 billion. It's not going to be $1 million. You know what I mean? Like $20 compared to $200 is a big difference. And that's why they thought it was going to bring in $1 billion. And honestly, they wanted to get the younger demographic more interested in their products. In my opinion, Gap was like, when I was in middle school going into high school, they were like a bigger brand like Abercrombie and Fitch kind of thing that people wanted to buy. I don't really know kids that really want to buy Gap anymore. So that's why they were trying to get these younger like kids wanting to get these products because look, Kanye was part of their business deal. I mean, it did help in that sense. And now because he wants to split, it's not going to work. And these kids are not going to want to buy just Gap clothing.
In a year and boost Gap shares by $1.50 per share by 2026. High hopes of a revitalized Gap after Kanye's partnership with Adidas was an instant knockout success.
Gentlemen, you got to clear the front of this place. You have to clear the front of the place.
His limited release shoes selling out almost instantly and being resold online for thousands of dollars. Kanye even rapping about his kicks in a 2016 song. He'd left Nike and signed with Adidas in 2020.
Yes, he was with Nike, left to go with Adidas, and he might also be splitting with Adidas because Adidas hasn't been really following through with their plan. And even though shoes were a lot of money, people were buying them and selling them online for thousands of dollars. I know I watched like the, those court TV shows, and there was this guy that he had bought a pair of Yeezys from this retailer guy that sold shoes, and he actually sent the pair to the judge, which she was like, why don't you send me the actual pair? Because he said he owned the actual pair too. And he pointed out all the flaws with the shoe and how it was not the actual real Yeezy shoe. And he won that court case and he got his money back. And the guy that was the retailer was really more pissed off because he saw it as like a defamation kind of thing, which he lost the defamation part as well. Because he was going around, the other guy was going around to different forums and sites where this guy was selling his products and saying, listen, he's not selling the actual thing. He's selling remakes and they're cheaply, poorly made. So I mean, that was just something I saw and I wanted to tell you guys.
13. But in recent weeks, Ye has taken to social media to criticize his fashion brand's corporate partners. In since-deleted Instagram post, he accused Adidas and the Gap of copying his designs in other non-Yeezy fashion lines. In a Bloomberg interview earlier this week, Kanye said it's time for him to leave Adidas too.
So, like I said, they were copying some of his designs. Though, like that normal Gap hoodie that we saw that Kanye had put out, that was something that I even saw as a kid that they had in their stores. It's been in their stores for quite a while, but it wasn't like distressed like Yeezys looked. But copying his style, that's kind of fucked up. Let's just say it like it is. That's fucked up.
Yeezy is 68% of their online sales. And they've even gone and specifically hired people from my team to do collaborations with to attempt to make fake versions or to try to dilute my message.
Adidas has not commented on.
So they got people from his team to make fake versions or to duplicate what his style was? OMG, really, Gap? Come on, Gap. I get it. But wouldn't you want to make the money? I mean, you were putting these price points up. Kanye had no say at what the price should be, and you were putting this up at $200. You could have made more money, actually selling his style. Though I would have preferred it, like Kanye said, at $20, where it was reasonable for all people. Oh, look, there's a Hollister. That was big when I was a kid, too. Do people still shop at Hollister? Oh, an UGG right there. I love Uggs. But really, do people still shop at Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch? I need to know this. Let me know below in the comments. Do you guys still shop there? I know that was a thing when I was a kid, but I want to know what you kids shop at, or if you have grandkids or kids of your own. Do you guys buy them Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister? Is that still big? I don't know. I don't really see it around.
On Kanye's claims.
He doesn't want any barrier of entry with his fans, so he has decided to venture off into his own. He's going to open some brick and mortar Yeezys on his own without these corporations kind of getting in the way.
The Gap did not reply to NBC News' request for comment, but for Ye, he says he had to walk away.
You're not going to be too optimistic.
No, I'm saying, and they have one individual on the planet that could save the Gap. And that individual.
Is she serious? Who is that individual? Who do you think it is, lady?
I'm asking you, who do you think it is? Sometimes the answer is sitting right in front of you.
Always so humble there. All right, Ellison Barber joins us now. So, Ellison, do we know if Gap is commenting publicly yet?
So they haven't commented on this publicly. After speaking with some experts, what we expect to happen is that this will be litigated for a while.
Really, do you think Gap is going to comment on this? They might make we are so upset that Yeezy is leaving us, and we did all of our part in this deal. We wanted this to go through for the 10 years. We did everything. That's going to be their comment if they are to make a comment. They're not going to be thank God. We're still going to steal a style. Come on now. I highly doubt, in my opinion, that Gap is going to make a statement. And like I said, if they do make a statement, it's going to be we're upset that this is, falling through and the partnership is splitting up, blah, 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 blah. But they're more going to handle this in the courtroom or through lawyers more than actual making public statements. That's just how bigger corporations are.
Right? But one thing to keep in mind as we're talking about this is that Kanye West and his legal team have been very public, showing us some of their own legal documents. But what we haven't seen yet are the legal documents that were from the very beginning when Kanye and the Gap went into this deal initially. So in terms of the specific allegations from Kanye West, right now, we really have a lot from his side, but very little from Gap, at least at this point in time.
So Gap and other companies may find dealing with Kanye West is difficult, but
Kanye is very particular. He might be hard to work with, but he's like an innovator. He's an inventor. He's fashion icon. He's a big music producer. He is set in his ways, but what he puts out is gold. Honestly, I do like his style when it comes to the fashion end of things. I've watched plenty of these fashion runways that he used to have back when he was with Kim on the Kardashians, and those clothes were freaking awesome. I don't know if you watch the Kardashians. I know a lot of people did not like watching them, and I only watched kind of reruns when they were on E. And one of the fashion shows, he had North singing, and that was literally the cutest thing ever. And I love that he includes his kids. I do.
You can't deny what he brings to the table, the amount of money he brings, and kids, adults, clearly love his gear. So do we know why Gap couldn't come to an agreement with Kanye West over the stores, over the pricing? Do we know why there was just sort of no middle ground?
We don't, but from Kanye's standpoint, he seems to be taking this very aggressive position, saying, I know what my name and my brand can.
Well, we do know they were having meetings without him and doing things that he didn't want. Like, right there, we know this because of Kanye. And Gap is not going to say anything, like I said, unless it's in the courtroom kind of thing. They're not going to publicly come out and say, yeah, we fucked him over kind of thing.
And has done for you, and if you're not going to play ball exactly on my terms, then I'm done. And speaking with his lawyer earlier today, his lawyer was adamant in saying that Kanye will take Yeezy, he will make his own retail stores, open them up brick and mortar, and he's going to do well.
So I was going to ask you about that. So that's what he eventually wants, and that's what we'll see possibly down the future. We're going to see Yeezy stores.
Yes, according to the conversation I had with his attorney this morning, he says that is the plan for Kanye moving forward.
This might be too technical, but do we know, because the Yeezy sneaker is so popular with Adidas, but that deal is still together, that relation.
The deal is still together, but he's made posts about it that are now been deleted, saying like he hasn't been happy with Adidas as well. And that, I mean, at this point, if he opens up these brick and mortar kind of stores for Yeezy, why not sell the Yeezy sneakers there as well? That would be a whole thing that he would have to make a new contract with Adidas saying, you guys can still sell it, but I'm going to sell it here. You can still get a percentage, blah, 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 kind of thing. Like, at this point, I think maybe that's another reason why he wants to get out of Adidas. Not like Gap, how, I mean, we've heard only good things about him and Adidas working together, though there probably is some controversy there, but that would be a reason he would want to split with them so he could sell them at his own store. I mean, he makes good money off of that. I don't know what the percentage he gets from it, but those shoes everybody wants.
Relationship is not completely fractured, though we saw in your story. They've hit a rocky road.
Yes. So as far as we know, we've reached out to Adidas and we're trying to get more information from them, particularly in light of these kind of late-breaking comments from Kanye West in the CNBC interview. As far as we know, at this point, we've seen these allegations from Kanye West on social media, have not heard much, if anything, from Adidas. As far as we're aware, the contract there is still intact. We're trying to get some more information.
Yeah. I mean, if Gap's not going to make a comment, Adidas isn't going to make a comment. Adidas would probably make the same kind of comment, like, we are sorry that this partnership has to end, yada, yada, yada. Like, I get it. But even though Kanye might be hard to work with, he's very specific about his music, his style, his fashion, but that's what makes it work. That's what people want. He is very detail-oriented, and it works for him. Though he might be hard to work with, if they actually worked with him and gave him kind of what he wanted, these companies could be making a lot of money. They could be making a lot of money. I mean, it's sad that, Gap and this fell through after only 2 years. But it didn't also go well, even with the first kind of merchandise being brought out in his store. I will say this as well, too. There was another article that was put out saying Kanye West has decided to let go of grudges following Queen Elizabeth's death. More that if it's too short, there's no need for these grudges. And if there is, he's going to just let them go kind of thing. But this is like business dealings, and this can affect him and his money and his income for his family. And I think there's not a grudge, but more of personal issues with the company and the contract, business aspect wise. And that's why we are seeing this happen. He might let go of grudges when it comes to, like, Pete Davidson and, people that he's had issues with in the past. Though Pete is now with Kim, and that's a good way to get rid of the grudge. Listen, dude, now you know what I went through. No, but I think that's a good thing that he's letting go of these grudges with these people that he might have had in the past. So that is the Kanye West update kind of story that's been happening recently with the whole Gap and Kanye West collaboration. So last but not least, let's see our last new hot topic. So if you haven't seen my hot topic videos before, I love to put a very cute and interesting last hot topic that goes around as the last part of the video. So this one is a cute story that I'm bringing to you guys. Here is the photo. It is about a seal. Well, the seal has popped up in Shoe Pond in Beverly. A pond, not the ocean. They say that, like the rivers that come from the ocean, kind of thing, they'll see seals here and there. This is a pond. Well, passerbys first spotted a lone seal swimming in the 12-acre pond around noon on Thursday, according to an officer for the Beverly Hills Police. City officials said that after consulting with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, the recommendation was to let the seal be. The seal does not appear to be in any type of distress and has the ability, when it is ready, to go back into the river. This was a statement posted on Facebook by the Beverly Animal Control. There are plenty of fish and water in the shoe pond for the seal to hang out for a while. The post urged residents to remain on the outside of the fence surrounding the pond and reinforced not to feed the seal. Which, come on, people, please don't feed the seal. He has enough resources there. They are saying that don't feed him. Not that, I know people are going to be like, oh, he looks hungry. They were saying this if there wasn't enough fish for him. And sometimes it can be harmful to animals what people feed these animals, unless it's at a zoo where they have the specific food for these animals that you can actually feed them. This is in a pond near everyone's home. So this is not the zoo. Please don't feed the seal, please. So they don't know how the seal got there, but they think that it got in through the nearby Brass River, maybe through one of the drainage pipes under Elliott Street. According to Lisa Setti, the SEAL program manager of the Center of Coastal Studies, it's not unusual to see saltwater seals go into freshwater bodies, even ones like Shoe Pond that are not directly next to the ocean. She said that seals roam. They are highly mobile species. They have areas where they haul out and rest areas where they will forage, then move around a lot. And that they do move from place to place when they want to. She also said that it is possible that Beverly's newest resident was catching and chasing fish the Bass River and before ending up into the shoe pond. At the time of year, there might be some type of fish that run that it was responding to the river. We're seeing them up in foraging a lot more in these areas. Although Shoe Pond has a population of fish for the seal to feed off of, it's not likely the marine mammal will stay for long, said this lady about the roaming of seals, according to Lisa, kind of thing. Now, seals come up onto marshes and drones and forest areas temporarily, but typically they head back to the ocean. She's not sure how long the trek was for the seal, but they need prey. So she's not sure how long the seal will end up staying either. She thinks it won't be for that long. So the seal would be able to return naturally to the ocean when it's ready to leave and it wants to leave this pond. It can go back to open water whenever it wants. So that is the seal story. How cute is this? I wish I did live by it so I could just see the guy. He looks so cute. And listen, I've seen some seals in my lifetime. Not necessarily the good part of seals. So when I was lobstering in Maine with my cousin, they have a lot of seals in the ocean by them. They actually have a island called Seal Island because a lot of seals go to this island. And when I saw these two seals, they were being very aggressive to each other. Let's just say that. But naturally, they're cute little animals, and he's by himself. He doesn't have to worry about other seals, and he's foraging and he's eating and he has the necessities that he needs. So this was a cute little story that I saw that I wanted to show you guys. I hope you all enjoyed the hot topics of this week. And I, of course, will be making more videos, having more lives for you, and we will just be having fun here on my channel. So I will see you again soon. And I hope you guys have a lovely weekend. Bye, everybody.